So you first appeared here supporting Sting in 2000. What are your memories of playing the Royal Albert Hall for the first time?
I think it was, I mean, I was quite mind blown by the idea of playing the Royal Albert Hall because of what the Royal Albert Hall represents. You know, I'd grown up watching the Royal Albert Hall with the proms and seeing people wave Union Jacks and so on. So it was quite exciting as an Asian person to play the Royal Albert Hall. For me, it felt like it meant something. And also playing with Sting, who I'd grown up listening to and loved the Police, and so it was very exciting. And so it was in the wake of doing the album Beyond Skin, which came out in 1999, and so it felt very meaningful to do it.
What were your memories of kind of walking out on that stage for the first time?
I was just overwhelmed by the size. I mean, you know, it's an incredible space, and to actually have that many faces looking at you. I mean, I'd played big venues before and even stadiums and so on, but there was something very special and very intimate in a weird way with the Royal Albert Hall, and which I wasn't expecting. And it also had a sense of occasion that I'd never experienced before. I mean, it really felt like this was probably the most meaningful gig I'd ever played. So, I mean, that was supporting Sting, and then doing it, coming back and doing it in my own right was even more unbelievable.
Did that feel like a big career milestone, that first headline performance here?
The first headline performance here was just so unbelievable. I mean, it was. I remember we had a rapper at the time called JC001 who went out to the audience and warmed them up first. And he just said, you know, here we are, we're sold out at the Royal Albert Hall, and there was such a massive cheer. And I think there was a lot of warm feeling and real sense that we'd achieved something and cut through a lot of stuff that, you know, would maybe have held people like me back 10 years before. And it just, I don't know, it felt like everyone who was there has a sense of pride and achievement in that we'd actually got to that stage.
So it was kind of a group effort.
Yeah, it felt important, and it felt like we were making a statement.
And you performed at the Proms on a number of occasions as well.
Yeah,
playing the world's greatest classical music festival.
Yeah, I'm very lucky in that I've actually had I had an electric prom as well with the BBC, which was at the Roundhouse, but I also had my own prom here, and that was very special. It was great to have that on the radio as well, broadcast, and we had incredible guests like Imogen Heap and also Anushka Shankar. You know, I've been lucky to have people like Jeff Beck as well come on stage. It wasn't that time, but in 2001, I had him come on and play Nadia with us. You know, people that I'd admired, Courtney Pine, MJ Cole. You know, I was lucky in that I could bring in guests that I really admired, and they were very happy to play here because it's such an incredible venue.
Had you seen many shows here as a punter?
I'd seen quite a few proms here. I mean, I grew up with classical music, so I had come to see the proms. But I'd also kind of, I'd seen some rock bands as well. But I kind of wasn't. I don't think I really felt as connected with the Royal Albert Hall until I actually played here.
And you did a pretty special show with a few dancers a few years ago. Could you kind of talk us through that?
Yeah, so I turned my last album, Dystopian Dream, into a fully choreographed show with Sadler's Wells. And so they co-produced with the Royal Albert Hall. They co-produced one show that was kind of a preview of what that show would be. That show went on to tour to Paris and to Amsterdam and to America, Stanford University, and quite a number of places. So it was great to have it premiere here. And the two dancers we were using there were Honji and Sebastian Wang Ramirez, they're known as. And that felt really good. I mean, the audience reaction was amazing to that. And it felt like a really special show. It was, you know, each time you play here, each show feels special. It feels like there's a real sense of occasion. But so I try to honour that by bringing something different or special each time that feels unique to that particular performance. And I think it's a great venue that inspires you to want to do that.
And this year, of course, you're back 20 years after with Beyond Skin. What can we expect from that show?
So coming back and playing Beyond Skin 20 years after I first made it, and playing it here at the Royal Albert Hall is very emotional for me. The album was very successful. It sold a lot of records. It got Mercury nominated, won the South Bank Show Award. But more than all of that, I think it really represented, more than any album I'd made till then, exactly what I wanted to say and who I felt I was. And so it was a very personal album, and I made it in my bedroom basically, but it had a lot of impact on a lot of people, and still does. I get lots of tweets and lots of Instagram kind of messages saying that, how much people feel empathy with the album, what the album was about. So I think from that point of view, it's very exciting for me to come and play at the Royal Albert Hall. But I think more than anything, I want to kind of bring the scale of the Royal Albert Hall to the performance. So it actually is about translating what the album is and how it works as an album into a live performance that's going to feel unique and special.
Has the passage of time kind of changed the way that you see the album yourself? Obviously, there's themes of identity and immigration, and we're here in 2019, and it's kind of obvious that those are quite big topics. I'm going to say really what I really think. I wish Beyond Skin wasn't as relevant as it was then, but now it feels even more so. I feel it's crazy what is going on. We are living in an age where lying has become just acceptable normality, where it doesn't matter. It's almost like we're desensitized to scandal, and it's got to the point where people who are overtly racist or overtly looking to undermine the fabric of society in so many different ways through bigotry and prejudice and unbelievable misogyny, all those people are celebrated and constantly on our screens, constantly thrown at us. So when I look at what Beyond Skin represents, it was about me trying to look at those issues of how nationality, race, religion is used to define people in order to exploit them. And I feel that that's more the case now than ever. So I really, really want to present this album, and I really want to talk about this album. Do you think the presentation of the album at the Royal Albert Hall show be kind of see a lot of change from the way that the album was originally presented on record?
I think that it will have a new impetus playing at the Royal Albert Hall. I think, like I said, I want to bring the kind of sense of scale to the show. So I'm bringing in the London Contemporary Voices, I'm bringing in the string quintet, but we're going to perform the whole thing live, although we'll use a couple of samples that I used on the album in between the tracks. But really, it's going to be about a performance that hopefully will connect with the audience and make the statement that I made back then relevant to today. It's a very weird time for me because in 2005 I turned down an OBE, and the reason I turned it down was because the word empire that came with it, and the connotations and the history of empire, as well as the fact that there had been a war in Iraq, which I didn't agree with. This time I got offered a CBE last year on my dad's birthday, and because he'd passed away in 2013 and had wanted me to take it, I took it. And Beyond Skin is kind of in some ways a celebration of my mum and dad's journey as immigrants to this country, what it meant to them to be here. And it was a strange thing taking the CBE because I felt conflicted personally about the idea of having empire after my name. After all, empire has so many negative connotations. A lot of people were killed in India. The Amritsar massacre, one of my heroes, Rabindranath Tagore, gave his knighthood back to the British in 1919 after the Amritsar massacre. So I kind of feel like it's interesting because the history, the 150-year history of the Royal Albert Hall is also connected with empire, Albert was Queen Victoria's husband. So you're kind of looking at a history that, with the Royal Albert Hall that is connected to in some ways, in my mind, negativity. What I really want to do is bring back positivity and celebrate the positive aspects of the Royal Albert Hall, because there have been many. And the Royal Albert Hall has had a lot of diverse groups from eclectic backgrounds play here, and I think it's really embraced internationalism and global thinking. And from that point of view, I think the Royal Albert Hall represents something much more than a symbol of empire or a symbol of the people who originally perhaps created it. I think it's come a long way and it's evolved in the same way the country should be perceived as dynamic. And I think the Royal Albert Hall for me is a dynamic institution that has meant a lot to me personally.